Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, and welcome to Body and Soul Awareness with Stephanie Oxana. Here are your hosts.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Oxana. How are you?
Hello, Stephanie. Doing great.
I'm so glad that we're in studio together today. The last couple of weeks we haven't been able to because of scheduling, but I love it when we can get together in studio because I think it's so much better.
I like it. Yes. It's nice because we connect closer. Speaking of energy,
exactly.
We create our own space. We kind of just I guess maybe we're more in tune with each other when we're in proximity that is closer than just over distance, which doesn't matter, but it does make it more special.
Exactly. So how was your week?
The week was good. The week was actually a little crazy due to weather.
Right. Can you believe it snowed? I'm so upset about that.
On Friday, actually on Thursday for me, I went from observing from my window, going from summer, sun, going through my window, and then all of a sudden, storm, dark, clouds, rain pouring down. Then all of a sudden, it's again sunny. And I've observed a lot of pressure on my hand during that day. And I don't have headaches, and I really had a lot of pressure. So my guess it was because the pressure in the air changed. It affected my head. So,
yeah, definitely the barometric pressure. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's
so it was very strange. And, of course, it does happen all the time, but it was very strange to observe, in one day, the weather went from cold Russia to hot Hawaii. Hey, both great places.
You know which one I'll take.
Yes, I do. So, but then going back to homework this past week, for me it was a little bit of both. I did spend some time actually doing some meditations in the morning. And to me it was mainly starting my day fresh. Sometimes you dream certain things, and they do come sometimes for healing or reflecting or, sometimes just enjoying. But it is your subconscious going, speaking of our topic today, which we'll go into later, but speaking of subconscious, that's, I think, where we can tap into our subconscious is in the dreams. I might be wrong, but I believe that's where life is coming from. So I spent some time kind of focusing in the morning, getting to my clear point of nothingness.
So it's a good place.
Yes. So I come out, clear-minded and in harmony, insight within myself. And then at night, typically what works for me is the movement. That's what I found out. So in the morning, I start with quietness, meditation, maybe sometimes slow movements because my body is weird, feeling weird from like yesterday's exercises or stretches or sleeping weird, whatever. But then typically in the morning, I do like to just center myself and stretch meridian channels just a little bit. But at night, I like to move more. So that's what I did. I did some movements, and you know, I haven't mentioned on the previous show when I talked about my classes that I actually do have some sort of, I don't want to call it chronic condition of my hips, but something that is ongoing, which I am concentrating my focus on, healing-wise, of course. But that's why sometimes I need to move, because I do have a, you know, I still sit up quite a bit during the day.
Right.
So at the end of the day, I need to move to allow the flow to continue.
You know, speaking of that, I kind of like to get an update on your b.e.a.m usage, because I was really interested to know how well it would work, if you feel like it's been beneficial to you.
So what I've noticed, all right, so I have quite busy schedule right now. Everything in the schedule I'm happy with, but it is there at the moment. So I believe, is helping me to still feel rested. I try to get at least 5 hours of sleep, at least. Typically, I work on 8 hours, but maybe it's been changing slowly. But 5 hours, if I get good 5 hours, I can be good, and then I can continue. But I think b.e.a.m helped me to, still feel rested with my busy schedule. Then I had an incident. I really hurt my leg. I know a couple of people know, and I actually had to travel right after, 2 days after. And
yes, I remember, because I had to make you stay off of it.
Exactly, yes. I realized how much it was hurting. And then I placed the b.e.a.m gel on it repeatedly, twice a day, and it was healed like a matter of probably a day and a half.
Well, right, didn't you have to like walk through the airport?
I was afraid. Like I almost thought I'm not gonna go.
Wow.
And I went, and I didn't even have any problems.
Wow.
So whether it was related to b.e.a.m or maybe my condition that I am now, the health overall, but it healed very fast. And of course, there is a certain way you think about it with the healing and positive thoughts. That helps, and that's typically how I approach anything that affects me in a way that is not comfortable, internally or physically. Maybe that contributed. Also, what I've noticed with b.e.a.m is skin definitely heals extremely fast. Okay, fast, because skin is the first organ that heals faster than anything. My guess, from what I've, because literally you cut and it's.
Exactly, yeah. Your body does spend a lot of energy making sure that your skin
You're covered, from outside.
Exactly, and it's definitely one of the first signs of problems.
Yeah.
Is you'll see that in your skin too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it's really interesting because the science behind it just seems to make so much sense, especially from what I've learned about the body and how it works. So I'm interested to definitely see how you're doing in the future, like how your hips start to feel.
Yes, with hips, what's been happening is I have been forgetting that I have that issue, and I'm not sure whether I am just simply losing memory, I'm getting old, or
it happens.
But honestly, I even forgot to mention that on the previous radio, and it just dawned on me a day later. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? And it didn't even occur to me even once.
Right.
So whether it is part of the healing process or not, but and I think it is important, because if you don't put your focus, mental focus there in a way that, oh my gosh, it's hurting, then it's already a step forward. You're exchanging that energy into, it's feeling good energy. It's healing energy, instead of, oh my gosh, it hurts. Oh my gosh, why did it happen? So you change the sense that energy, the feeling of it, and maybe that's that's what's happening. It's going there because I definitely don't even place any energy of illness there anymore.
Right.
Hopefully it's a step forward. But with ICA, yeah, it's a progress, but I think it's definitely contributing in a good, positive, beneficial way.
Okay.
And believe it or not, especially for women, this information would be helpful. I believe it restructured, reconfigured, or boosted up my hormones because I've experienced a very healthy, menstrual cycle, which, it's always a plus to know for women.
Yeah, I mean, I think anything overall it should help because it's signaling. And once your body can do the things that it used to because it has all of the signaling molecules, then it can talk to itself properly, and it's a really ingenious machine. And once it can do that, it can pretty much do anything.
And I read a couple of articles about that. And, of course, there are a lot of people that are, saying it's, it's fake or whatever. And totally, you have to look into that. If you can't just believe, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm actually experiencing and seeing in practice how it affects me. But a lot of people are saying that they're literally seeing changes in their bodies. So I don't know whether it's their experience or not, but I decided I'll have my own.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes in the future.
I'll update you.
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely.
All right.
So, yeah.
All right, so my homework.
Yes.
Homework. It's crazy. I'm kind of bad at the whole meditating thing since I was pregnant, and now every waking moment of my life is spent with my child, either next to me or eating off of me or crying
literally.
Right, pretty much, or crying in somebody else's arms to get to me because he cannot stand to be away from his mom. I don't really get a lot of meditation time, and we co-sleep too, just because I think a lot of human contact is really important for their development. So I'm making sure that this year is totally devoted to him, and I understand that. So it's been going really good, and I'm glad that I'm doing it. But like I said, I don't get a lot of meditation time. If I do get a chance in the morning when he goes down for his nap, which is only about 20 minutes if I'm not there, but when he goes down for his nap, I try to have tea. And I just sit and I reflect in silence.
That's one way of meditation.
Yeah, and I pet my cat.
See,
and it's a relaxing, peaceful moment. As soon as it's warm outside, I'll start sitting outside and doing that. But, yeah, that's a really good moment that I have. It's an active meditation for me. It's kind of easy for me to go into a meditative place. Yeah, so that works for me. And then another kind of like moving meditation that I do is, I know it's so funny because everything I do has to be like a purposeful mission. I can't just be exercising. I have to be like doing the laundry. So I do, I do squats.
Hey, however it works.
I know. So I do squats when I fold the laundry. So each piece of laundry, you squat down, pick it up, fold it, squat down, get another piece, fold it.
Here we go.
So
I can choreograph from that.
No, I end up doing
one
probably
step,
like,
2 steps.
I know. I end up doing like 20 or 30 squats every time I do laundry. So it's great.
Exactly.
So, but that's a moving meditation. But the quiet sit and stillness meditation hasn't really worked for me for quite some time. But I don't know. I like to think of everything I do as a meditation, that you consciously go through life. And
that is actually ideal place to be, and that's what we say. It's not what you do with your life. It's how you do it with your life.
Exactly.
It's how you are. It's not what you do. It's how you are.
You're right.
what you feel, how you feel about it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, all right, we have a very special guest.
I'm excited
tonight.
Very excited.
Yes. Her name is Renee Canalli. She is a mindset coach. She is the author of Life is an Onion, The Journey Back to Your Core, Effective Influence, and the Business of Gratitude. She is also the resident gardener in the land of possibility.com. As a mindset coach and cultivator of change, Renee commits to shifting people out of the underlying current of fear that destroys relationships and guides them to become effective influencers. Life has a way of getting our attention with a nudge or a whack on the side of the head. Renee listened. Now she lives in the land of possibility.com, where her clients create a new world through conscious evolution of belief and develop a legacy of opportunity and possibility for future generations. Renee understands the pattern of life, believing that we must never forget the child within us. Her unique qualities include seeing the possibility in others, translating fears into possibilities, and embracing the playful part in all of us. Beneath each and every decision we face and choice that we make, there is a pattern of thought and behavior that can silently erode our intentions and negatively affect our results. Renee's intuitive nature detects the conflicting tides and brings them forth for her clients to get a closer view. So I'm very, very excited to talk to Renee tonight. But but before we bring her on, I just want to remind everyone to call us if you have any questions for us or our special guest. The guest call-in number is 347-324-3704. And then also, if you'd like to talk to us on chat, we do chat live on freedomizerradio.com. That's freedomizerradio.com. So now that you have that information, we're going to go ahead and bring Renee on. Hello, Renee.
Hello, guys. How are you guys doing tonight?
We're wonderful. We're so glad to be talking to you tonight. We're so excited about our chat.
Hi, Renee.
Hi, Oxana. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Welcome to the show. So excited to talk to you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's been a couple months. I've been waiting to talk to you guys again, and this is a perfect way.
Yeah. See how we find our way?
Yes, definitely. I like the way this works.
Why not live, right?
That's right.
So how have you been doing? How's life?
Oh my gosh. Life is shifting everywhere, and so many things are happening, and yet it's been really quiet at times. It's been very interesting.
Quiet. I can see that actually.
Yeah, I
for
agree.
For some reason, I feel that.
Yeah, something is definitely in the air and the water, or both.
No. Since you just mentioned that, it kind of does seem like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so tonight we're going to be talking about recognizing patterns of thoughts and behaviors and ways to transform or modify them to create possibilities and momentum in your life. And Renee, we're really excited to learn more about patterns and how to break them. So go ahead and give us a little bit of background, if you don't mind, on your, I guess, the land of possibility and how you came to your awakening point to where you can help others and give us all this good information.
Mm-hmm. How did you get to the point of diving into all of this?
Fortunately, I was one of those people that was born with a really healthy dose of curiosity. And when I was about Huh?
I think I can relate to that. Yeah, you know that saying, curiosity killed the cat? Kill the cat? Is it killing the cat, or what is it doing to the cat?
I don't know. The cat has
supposedly.
eyes, that's okay.
That's exactly.
Supposedly it does,
right.
something to cats, but for me, it certainly can get you in trouble if you don't understand how to leverage your curiosity, which is really what I've done through most of my life. Because at 4 or 5 years old, I was curious why adults would say things in one instance and then say something completely different about the same topic in another instance. And one of my most vivid memories is walking to kindergarten past this house that was absolutely beautiful. Their yard was gorgeous. They had flowers everywhere, green grass. It was always manicured. And hearing some of the neighbors and my mother, talking about what a waste of time and why are they spending so much time and who wants a perfect house. And I just saw the beauty and the care and the joy that it was bringing to some other people and wondered what was going on. And when I asked about that, it was as if I was standing in a room by myself. There was no answer at all. And so I kept wondering about that and questioning, why would that be? And I have always had an affinity for plants and living things. When my dad was alive, we used to take a walk in the yard, and I would help him with the garden. And I just felt that, that was a place of appreciation for me. And I took both of those things through my life and always watched how people were. And unfortunately for me, I also saw how I was, but chose a lot of times not to do anything about it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So in high school, I was the short kid with glasses that got pummeled on the upper field trying to walk home without getting beat up.
Yeah.
And
that
it was wonderful.
Help.
Well, it actually helps being curious because I figured out how these guys were thinking, and I would find different ways to walk home, and they never found me after the first time. So
Kids are so mean.
So I like to play mind games.
Yeah. Well, you have to. You have to have control of your mind. That's for sure.
Oh, kids, love them.
I know. It's just, it just baffles me.
We turn them into monsters. We do. Anyway, we'll talk about it a little bit later.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and so the second part of that is exactly what you were talking about. Is where did I have my awakening? The day that my son was standing in front of me, very visibly upset, and my husband was standing between us. Now, my son is a foot taller than I am, and he was 17, and something that was said in the house or a condition that he didn't care for really got him upset. And I looked at his face, and I thought, oh, my God, I just did to him what I told myself I wouldn't repeat. It's a family pattern. And I told him. I told him while he was standing there, I said, I think I know what you're about to do, and I don't blame you at all. This is what I gave to you, and I am sorry. So if you do, what you're thinking about doing, I'm not going to blame you, but there are going to be consequences. And I'm just going to let you make that choice.
Mm-hmm.
And he fumed for a minute, and then he stormed off, upset because I told him what he needed to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
from that moment on, I decided to be very vigilant as much as possible about how I was influencing the behavior of the people around me, because I didn't want to do it that way anymore.
Wow, that is very respectful. What would be the right way to put it? It is very a respectful move. I would certainly respect you for doing that, because as kind of as a head of a family, recognizing that and making it obvious to others, it takes guts. It takes a lot of self-awareness and self-realization. So, yeah, that's beautiful.
It wasn't beautiful at the time.
Well,
but
before it gets beautiful, it always gets uglier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's always a spiral,
That's funny. I could learn a lot from you. I have a 14-year-old going on a 35-year-old, and he thinks he knows everything. And it's crazy because I totally see where we have patterns that I had with my mother, but in the heat of the moment, it's kind of hard to recognize that, and it just gets a little bit frustrating. But that's cool, because you're going to give us a lot of ways that we can look at our thought patterns and recognize them and fix them, right? So we can create the life we want.
Yes. I have some ideas to share, and these are things that work for my mentors. They work for me. They don't always work when you hear them. Sometimes you have to try one, and then a year later you come across the second one. Sometimes trying them over a shorter period of time will help you figure out which ones to begin to modify and to put into place earlier than some of the other ones. And it really just depends on you, your personality, and the behavior patterns and the thought patterns that already exist.
Before we go there, can we talk more about where the patterns are coming from, and kind of, talk a little bit about like our conscious mind and subconscious, so we know where we're coming from, right?
Yes. So if you look at kids, or if you remember being younger, you know that there were times where you were, 3, 4, 5, you were in your own world, and when somebody talked to you, it shocked you just because it didn't occur to you that there was anything else happening in the world.
Yeah, I remember.
You remember that?
The good old days.
The good old days, my own world, no one bothers me, I'm good, everyone does everything for me.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I briefly remember those days.
And then do you remember when the more that you talked and interacted with people in your home, the more that people paid attention to you, and how they paid attention to you started to write on a little CD or a little memory card about, when this happens, I feel this, or I see this, or I get this.
Oh, yeah.
That brings up a great childhood memory. I used to have a piggy bank, and every time someone would come to the house, I would take that piggy bank to the front door, and I would smile, my prettiest little smile. And every time I would do that, I would get whatever change they had in their pocket. Man, man, I need to start filling out that piggy bank again. I forgot all about that.
Well, that is a great pattern, because when I hear you say that, it reminds me of the pattern of learning to ask for what you want.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You knew that there was a probability, if you stood there, that people would understand exactly what your message was.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They did.
And they did.
Maybe I was cuter then or something.
It worked.
Yeah, so children start to understand what happens when I do this, this can happen. And whatever is right, it's the cause and it's the law of cause and effect. So if I behave this way with this person, this was what happens. And we also start to learn that when you do it with another person, it might not work that same way.
Right.
Okay, so if there's enough of that happening when you're young, that you get a certain reaction from one person and a very different reaction from another person, it actually starts to have two conflicting files in your little brain.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you get older, when you start, why did you do that? I don't know, I'm 2 years old.
Right.
What were you thinking? I don't know, I'm 4 years old. What is thinking? So
your
then
life
we start to...
started, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what you do here. I haven't been taught that yet.
Well, exactly. And they look at you, and my mother, one of the things that she heard when she was little was, "Are you stupid?" Well, yeah, at 4 years old, I don't know why I'm doing something. I guess I am stupid. Is that the word that you say when 4-year-olds don't know?
Right.
Yeah.
They don't know. So that's how patterns start.
It is, and you're screwed. That's exactly.
Yeah, and it's not really. In some ways, it's natural that the communication happens that way. But as adults, we don't realize how much that we're programming children by using our adult filters to interpret what the childhood experience is.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Because, yeah, absolutely.
That's so true. Renee, I'm so sorry. We went a little bit past our break time. We have to take a commercial break, but
not a problem.
We'll be back in about 3 minutes. We'll be right back.
Perfect.
Are you sick of being a chump, lied to by politicians and businessmen alike, watching as the world slowly burns, as trillions in debts racked up under your grandchildren's names? Hi, I'm Ben Lucifer Bernanke Cochran. I'm asking that you tune into my weekly radio show, The Patriot Power Hour with Lucifer Bernanke, each Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern on Freedomizer Radio. Look, I'm not trying to sell you anything here. I just need your help fighting these bankster scum. The sycophants behind all the wars, failed healthcare system. They own all the mega banks, all the mega corporations. They own the media, of course. They've already conquered most of humanity, really. And their juiciest final target, well, we're next. America's next. So I'm not going out without a fight. So join me Thursdays as I use my background in finance and risk management to decode breaking news and developments, all while helping to prepare you and your family for the future waves of financial terrorism that are sure to come. Thursday nights, 6 p.m. Eastern, only on FreedomizerRadio.com.
Did you see this? The EPA wants to regulate water in our ditches now. Our ditches are dry most of the time. There's hardly ever any water in them. That's enough.
The ditch is dry on my farm today, not a puddle anywhere, and no water For the EPA is knocking at our door with a brand new rule. They want to regulate us more. They've tried before and we said no. Why should they control what doesn't sow? Agriculture's safe, that's what they say. It's what they always say. That's enough, that's enough. Can't take away anymore. That's enough, that's enough. The EPA and the Corps, they will try to justify, but we won't back down. Don't need more government anyway. That's enough, that's enough. No more power plays. That's enough, that's enough. We won't back away. What can we do to ditch the rule? Tell the EPA. Don't need more government anyway.
Tell the EPA it's time to ditch the rule. Ditchtherule.fb.org. This is a message from the Missouri Farm Bureau. Contact them at 573-893-1558.
How would you like to make your work more enjoyable, be more creative and relaxed, all while sitting at your desk? That's exactly what my Serenity rug has done for me. This revolutionary footrest, I can't even call it a footrest because this thing encourages movement of your feet, which results in more blood flow. While traditional footrests advocate the motionless placement of your feet, I found that I'm unconsciously digging my feet into the long, soft grass strands of the Serenity rug. It delivers an incredibly relaxing sensation that closely resembles the feeling of an exotic foot massage. If you have ever had a foot massage that made you want to stay there for hours, you know what I'm talking about. If you have not heard about the Serenity Rug, check them out at serenityrug.com and join the exclusive Serenity Rug community and enjoy a feeling of comfort and relaxation that most will never experience. They've sold out before, so I suggest you do your feet a favor and grab one of these. Again, that's serenityrug.com.
All right, everybody, we are back with our special guest, Renee Canalli. Renee, you there?
I sure am.
All right, thank you so much for waiting
Welcome
and listening
back.
to a word from our sponsors. Yes, welcome back. Let's get right into it. I know you have a lot of information for us on patterns and ways to recognize them and transform them. So let's get right back into it. So what exactly is a pattern?
Yeah, going back to our conscious and subconscious topic. What do you have to contribute to it, Renee?
So a pattern, from the dictionary, a pattern is a reliable sample of traits or acts or tendencies or some observable characteristic. So it's something that people can see and they experience it similarly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a pattern is really something that you repeat enough that other people recognize it and that you function at that point in time that you're developing the pattern. It helps you function better.
Oh,
Okay.
so it
Okay.
serves a reason then in the beginning.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's like practicing, writing your letters when you first go to school, or reciting ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. You're trying to establish a pattern of thinking about whatever that is that you're learning. Mm-hmm. When you potty train a child, you try to get into a routine. A pattern is a routine.
Mm-hmm.
And many of the patterns that we develop are very useful at some point in time. Sometimes not for the right reason.
I guess we have to try everything, right?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And I think the biggest pattern that many people would recognize is, telling a 2-year-old no. There's a very specific reason that we need to do that with children. Mm-hmm. And that's to keep them out of danger. But I think all parents at some point develop a pattern of no for everything. No, don't do that. Don't go there. Don't say that. Don't stomp,
So it's this pattern of scarcity, Nothing is no. It's like, you approach life with scarcity. You cannot get anything. So they're already creating a pattern of,
Yeah, that's a great point. That's one of the things that it establishes is a pattern of scarcity. It can, depending on, our personality at that point, it could also be a pattern of you're not good enough.
Oh, yes, absolutely. You have that or this or be like that. Yes, I can relate to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Or, it could be a pattern of I'm stupid. I don't, they keep telling me no, so I must not understand what I'm supposed to do. Mm-hmm. But we, in interacting with people, we learn how to respond to what they're saying to us, and we establish patterns to help us move around, as we get older and, as children go to school or get into different social situations where we're with more people. We have to understand a certain pattern of how to behave.
That's so true. I've always said that I felt like I was a chameleon going through, my teens and my 20s, because I would literally, turn into the person that I thought that I needed to be to suit the situation that I was in, and that's what always worked, so that's what I always did.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. I like the chameleon.
Yeah, chameleon. See, for me, I was actually very shy growing up, so it sounds like I completely, what's the word? Moved myself away from it. I mean, I was growing up and dancing on a stage, so behind that mask, I could be anyone, you know? Being a character on a stage, not a problem. But in my life, I was very shy, which now I'm understanding that I just didn't want to expose myself at all. Not even in any mask,
Yeah. So that's a really good example of one of the points that I wanted to make about patterns is a lot of times people think, I have to break a pattern. And what you just brought out was what I believe is more helpful is you found a way to transform a pattern from what you were doing to what's on the other side of that, to be in another state.
Right.
Mhm. Yeah, makes sense. And it's funny you mentioned that because movement and dance is how I, connect, like how I heal myself and how I kind of approach life. Movement, music, sound, and they're my healers. Let's just say it that way. So it makes sense. I can express myself in it, through it.
Yeah.
And not be, afraid of any judgment or any of that, I guess. Or
exactly. And, when you find whatever that is that helps you move through the world in a way that makes you feel, good and connected, you're actually learning how to use the combination of your body and your mind to combine them so that the spirit enters in and it determines who you're going to be.
Yeah. Right. I agree.
Because it's when you're in that space where you move or either mentally, emotionally, physically, all three of them, when you're moving towards something that brings you back to that place where a 3-year-old can be for hours and you don't think that they move and they've been everywhere in the universe, that's what you create with that combination. So that's a really good thing to bring out about patterns, is to find those kinds of patterns, because that particular pattern for me is how you understand who you are.
Right. Well, yeah. And it did help me to understand a lot of things, actually. But let's not go too much into this, because I've noticed we're kind of going very deep, and I love it. But can we go into how, can we differentiate first between subconscious and conscious? Because, we can only observe our patterns when they are in our subconscious mind. So where are they created? How are they get? Because we left off where you started to say that when two contradicting ideas or concepts are presented to a child while growing up, both of it collects on the disc in their mind, but it creates confusion, right?
Right. And so your point demonstrates what happens is we form a pattern that gets us through wherever we are at that point in time. When younger children do tantrums is the first way that we know that they're in conflict. And what happens over time for all of us is those conflicts, one side of whatever that conflict is the stronger part of the pattern. So that always stays with us, and it's written on that memory card, and it just stays there in the background. So as we're growing up and we think that we're conquering the world, there's a situation that happens that knocks us off our feet, and we can't figure out why. Here's the really important part about patterns. It's because it is so routine, it is running in the background, and we don't recognize it anymore. Because somewhere in us we decided whatever's going on, that was the stronger piece of us way back when, and we're just going to let it keep happening. And as we're trying to grow and experience new things, our unconscious or subconscious mind says, you do whatever you want. I'm just going to keep doing the same old thing because we know what we get when we do that.
So So that's up. Okay. I'm just playing with ideas. Okay. Well, because like I, for example, literally had a short love affair with my ego the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Because I literally, that's why I go into subconscious and conscious, because it's because I've recognized how mature my ego has become. And yes, and I've decided that instead of kind of looking down on it, I was very much loving my ego the other day. And not from anything good that happened. Well, good / bad, one of those good, bittersweet.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, and that's why I'm saying, where are the patterns actually being, like, where are they collected? Why are we catching onto them? Like, what, is that a certain program that we absolutely cannot escape? Or
yes and no. The only job that a subconscious mind has is to keep us functioning.
Uh-huh.
And the only way that it can do that is to repeat patterns. It's repetitious, it's automatic, and until there is enough friction between what goes on just without us even thinking about it and something new that is coming to us in an awakening or a growth process, it's just going to sit there and do the same thing. If something comes in and it says, you just were angry at that person driving down the road and it had nothing to do with them, do you want to, I don't feel good about that. Oh, well, your subconscious mind goes, yeah, okay, that's good, but we're going to do it next time.
Uh-huh.
We're just going to do it next time. And then you say, okay, well, that's gone. Put it out of my mind, and I go forward. Well, what happens next time? Unless every time you get in the car, you start to tell yourself, I'm going to change the way that I think about driving. Your subconscious mind is just going to go, yep, oops, here comes an opportunity to do that again.
Because your pattern is still going to kick in, right?
It has to kick in because your subconscious mind can't change anything on its own.
Because it's not conscious, so you have to recognize. Yeah.
Exactly. So when something is set in motion to shake your subconscious mind up, it's looking for that program going, oh, crap, what do I do? This is new. I don't recognize it. I can't find the file.
It makes so much sense.
Then all of a sudden you get that blue screen in your head going, I don't know what to do. And panic and fear and doubt, that's when all that stuff happens.
Mm-hmm.
Is when your subconscious mind doesn't know what to do with what's coming at it.
Mm-hmm.
And then your conscious mind goes, I got to make a choice here. I got to make a decision. Something has to happen. I don't know what to do.
We should make a cartoon about it. I seriously can visualize this whole story of our subconscious and conscious. Oh my gosh! See, I think in all these ideas. Yeah, love it.
Yeah. So here's where the beauty of everything is. Our patterns of thought are, they're already running in the background. And we start to behave according to what those patterns are. Mm-hmm. And that develops very young, usually before the age of 7. I think it's even a little earlier now. So all of this wonderful stuff is going on, and we just go through life until something like that happens, and your little screen in the front goes, blank, and you can't turn it on, you can't find a flashlight, you don't know where to look, and all of a sudden something's happening, and usually it's lower emotions. We start to cry, we have an adult tantrum.
Mm-hmm.
We have anger, or we have fear, or we have, taking accelerated risks that are, not healthy risks to take. We start abusing our bodies.
Right.
And until the pain of whatever that friction is gets so bad, you've got to put some ointment or some herbs or something on it to get rid of that friction. We're not going to do anything about it. We're just going to let that floppy, thing run in the background the best that it can, and we're going to go around paralyzed.
Right.
And then we start to do something that a guy named Grant Fraser calls obstacle illusions. We create obstacle illusions. Because at that point, the only thing we have to help fix this problem is our imagination.
Mm-hmm.
We either use it to be afraid, or we use it to figure out what else to do.
Well, everything is kind of an illusion anyway. Even the patterns that we've created, those are illusions too.
Yes,
so we're pretty
absolutely.
much
What you're saying, we're creating another illusion on top of illusion. Oh my God, it's a mess out there.
And really, listen to children. They have illusions about everything, so that you can't even follow their story because there's so many illusions happening. It's a kaleidoscope.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. It's dark. It's always changing. It's light. It's a great combination of crystals. But what do you do to move yourself forward? Well, a lot of us stand there and we just turn the dial on the kaleidoscope saying, oh, my God, change is happening. Oh, my God, change is happening. I'm not going to change.
We have to change. Well, change is inevitable.
It happens no matter whether we choose it or not.
Well, because if we are all one, and if something is changing, it's gonna create a domino effect. It's, it might be changing in 5 different directions, but it will be changing. Nothing stays still.
Right. The only constant is change.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So here's a real world example. If somebody gets out of college, let's say, goes to get a job in their field, can't find one. So they take a job that they say, there are parts of this job that might help me get, strengthen some of my skills or get me into the field that I want to work in or whatever. And it will help me pay my bills, and that seems like a pretty good option.
Isn't that like everybody?
Right now I think it's about 87% of everybody.
87%. Wow. Yeah, I'd say that's about accurate. It's a lot, that's for sure.
We created the system.
Sorry.
Yes,
continue.
and then what do we do? If it's our first time in that, place, when things start to get bad, guess what happens? The computer part kicks in and they say, I have a memory about this. I hear my mother, my father, my aunt, my grandfather, my next door neighbor. And whatever that predominant pattern was when you were growing up starts kicking in. Life is hard. You have to work hard to make money. Things don't come easy in life. And all of a sudden you say, okay, so I just have to be miserable for 10 more years.
Oh no, that never worked for me.
Only 10 years.
No matter how much they tried to beat that in my head, that never worked.
Well, then you're one of the. Well, you may be one of the ones that has, programming that says when shit happens, get out of it.
Right.
And that's a great pattern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great pattern. And that may be why a lot of times things seem to occur to you more quickly than those of us that fall into those, those ruts, the same old, same old. But in order for somebody to get out of that position, many people need something to happen, like to get fired.
Yeah.
To be demoted or laid off.
Yeah,
I mean, I had
something that's very life-changing.
Yes, I had a client and a very dear friend who she was in a sales job and she was doing really well. They had a change in management. The person over her division was harder to get along with. They had very, very different ideas and thought, I started Monday morning at 9 o'clock, so by 9:15, the staff should be automatically changed and doing everything that I want them to do, and they should just buy into the idea.
Right.
Well, the first week that this boss was there, she was out on a sales call and got into a car accident. And she was on disability for a short while. Came back, well, actually, she was on disability for, I think, about 6 weeks. Came back to work, and her boss said, glad to have you here, just want to go over your sales goals. You're the number one salesperson in the department, so in order to stay there, not only do you have new quotas to get, but you need to make up for the quotas that you missed while you were out.
Wow.
Well, he told her what she, he told her what she wanted, right? Somebody patted her on the head and said, good job, honey, go out and do more.
Yeah, very understanding of him. What a lovely gentleman he is.
He was
sweetheart.
He was, oh boy, was he partners with his ego.
Yeah, indeed.
They were working together as hard as they could. So the second thing, she goes back to work. 2 weeks later, we actually had a mastermind meeting at lunch. She left, went to the parking lot, drove 2 blocks, and somebody rammed her.
Ooh, oh, wow. Yeah, that's a pattern, all right.
Yeah. So guess what? I get a phone call. I said, she said, I just had an accident. I said, okay, I'm still here. Where do you need me to be? And she goes, no, don't come. Don't say anything. I just want to talk to you for a minute. I get it. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not happy at the job. This is my second warning. I don't want a third one. And she quit.
Nice. I love that. Take control of your life.
And you're thinking.
Right.
You really have to understand that when things like that are happening, it really is an opportunity to look at what's going on. What's the friction? What do I need to look at?
Exactly.
And
that's a really good point.
So one tip that I'd like to pass on is the one that she used, and I call it the oh my. Oh my, I just got hit. Oh my, and it stands
It's a good
for,
one.
it stands for observation magnifies insight. So when you step back and observe for a minute and say, I wonder what is going on. It allows you some space to magnify some of the ideas that you may have had before that you stuffed down because the subconscious mind came in and said, never mind, I have this, jump, da-dum, da-dum. So step back when things happen and say, wow, I didn't expect that. I mean, one of my famous ones was every time I went on vacation, the day before I was supposed to go back to work, I'd get sick.
Mm-hmm. How convenient.
I went to work. It didn't keep me from going to work because, you know, I was told, you know, you have to be loyal to the company and you have to work hard and you always do your best and you don't let people down. So I went to work.
Of course. Yeah, but you let yourself down because you're not taking care of your body when it's telling you need a break.
Mm-hmm.
You're absolutely right.
I tell people, so you work when you're sick, and you work sick for what? To be more sick and then not be here?
And
like
spend
what?
more time out?
Like, step back and think about it. You know?
Exactly. Exactly. And that's one of those conflicts. If you say, oh my, and you stop for a second, you don't get trapped in the wrong, you know, using your imagination the wrong way. You just stop everything and you look at, you know, a movie paused and say, isn't that interesting? What am I supposed to see in here? Let me just look for something. Because there's something in there that's trying to give you a message. So that would be another way, is use your imagination in the right direction instead of creating obstacle illusions, and then use oh my and stop for a second and just allow yourself to see. You're not deciding anything. You're not figuring anything out.
Right. It's literally like standing on the rooftop and looking at the whole entire situation from every aspect, from every angle.
From a bigger eye.
Right. Don't put any emotion toward it. Don't attach to it. Just see it for what it is.
Right.
Observe it,
Yeah, just all you're doing is, you know, you're the scientist in the field, and all you're doing is trying to write down in words what you see. You know, capture it in a picture in your mind. However you see, hear, feel, touch, taste, smell, something is going to bring you to the realization of, I get it. All I have to do is.
Right, that aha moment.
That aha moment. Yeah. Now, here's one thing. If you guys want something that is so powerful and so, I find it so fun to do, to stop yourself or to change something that you don't like, as you know, you don't want to do it anymore. You know, you're like, you know, it was useful, but I don't need this anymore. And you're having a hard time figuring out or, you know, being consistent. Take out a piece of paper and make 3 columns, 3 vertical columns. In the first column, write, I can't, at the top. The second column is going to be titled, I won't. And then the third column is, I can. In the first column, you're going to say, I can't eat healthy all the time. I can't pick out healthy food. I can't get to work on time if I think about eating healthy. So you're writing down all those kind of excuses or the thoughts that go through your head. The second column you say, I won't, and then you restate the same statement. So you're just substituting I won't for I can't.
Okay.
And then the magic happens. Because as you're writing, I won't choose healthy foods. I will too. That's not true. And then that's what the third column is for. I can do it. So you're allowing yourself permission to do it. You're not saying I will.
It's like you're giving yourself, because I believe we have one program that we always need somebody's confirmation, authorization to do something, to be yourself, to be this way. So this way we're kind of giving authorization to our own selves to be whatever and do whatever. Yeah. We need to.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, and when you look at it, I can't and I won't look so sad. When you look at it on the paper.
I know. I won, I can.
Well, exactly. Now, I mean, Stephanie, in your business, having a happy mind, body, and spirit and integrating things helps us stay in a space of equilibrium. Some people call it balance. It's a place where most of the time, much of what we do works. Well, doing I can't, I won't, I can. I mean, if your mind, body, and spirit isn't happy after you start writing down all the stuff in your mind that are obstacle illusions, and then saying, this is ridiculous. How ridiculous is this? You play at life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what, Renee, I'm going to have to ask if I can use this for my coaching clients. I will definitely give you all credit, but I love this activity. It's great.
It shows how life
you
paradox.
You can certainly do that. And just give Jack Canfield all of the credit because he was the mentor that gave me that exercise.
All right.
I can't, I won't, I can.
Love it. I can. I like that even better. Okay. Well, again, we've gone over for our commercial break. So we're going to go to a really quick commercial break, and then we will be back shortly.
Okay.
Talk to you very soon.
I like the way you grow it, no pesticides. I got to box it up. Yeah. I like the way you grow it, so locally. I got to box it up. I like the way you grow it with no GMOs. I like the way you twerk it, no diggity, no doubt.
We've got squash and peas, pollinator bags for all your bees. Melons you wanna squeeze. Yes, please. Yes, please.
Hey, now that plant looks good. I want to grow it. I want to taste it. Yeah. Tomatoes in full effect. Always in full effect. My girl Tilly's in full effect. Yeah. Peaceful Belly Plant Sale 2014. Ha ha! Yeah!
Search YouTube for Freaks of the Garden. PeacefulBelly.com. Support your local organic farmer.
Does the media ever deceive the public?
A white plane, a very big jet, was flying in an unusual pattern near the White House over Lafayette Park. Very slowly, it made one circle and then...
Are the media and their sources trustworthy?
New York State and New Jersey will get their first doses of the swine flu vaccine.
The H1N1 virus has made thousands of people across the country sick. Many have died, and some worrying that it could grow into a full-blown pandemic.
Where does our mainstream media get their news?
All this enjoyment is brought to you by all the things sweetened with NutraSweet.
There's a reason why we want to own these guns.
We're going to have to come together and take meaningful action to prevent more tragedies like this.
That was President Obama Friday suggesting it is now time to reopen the national debate on gun control.
The media tends to march in lockstep with the government. Who is responsible when the media fabricates the news?
When the public is constantly fed messages that are potentially leading us into a war that may not be necessary, it's not fair to the American people, and it's not fair to journalism, because the truth isn't being told here. We found out that CNN International is actually making money from the Bahrain regime. They are a customer of Bahrain. Bahrain is paying CNN International to create content that shows Bahrain in a favorable light, to then air that content on CNN International.
Join us online at WilliamLewisFilms.com. That's WilliamLewisFilms.com.
I am an autonomous government agent here to steal your livelihood.
Not so fast. I'm Sovereign Filing Solutions.
And I'm the Sovereign. We're teamed up
to bring you
the truth without censorship.
Are you tired of being fed multi-million-dollar media lies?
Are you ready for the real story?
Sovereign Filing Solutions has teamed up with the Sovereign newspaper to make sure you get it.
And not the BS this guy behind me wants to feed you.
Take the step, help make the change.
Oh, come on, that's not even fair. How are we supposed to rule indiscriminately if you know what's going on?
Hey. All right, everyone, we're back on with our special guest, Renee Canalli. Hello, Renee, you there?
I sure am.
Good.
Hi, Renee.
Welcome back again.
Yeah.
Time for a minute of fun.
Yes. Yeah, breaks are always good, and commercials are very interesting.
Yeah, we definitely have some great radio shows on Freedomizer, that's for sure.
No, this radio station is great.
Yeah, it's been a really good platform for us to get our information out there, that's for sure.
Absolutely. They have great shows here.
So,
yes, listen to them.
I have more to listen to, yeah.
Yeah.
Good. So, all right. So I know there was a lot of information that we wanted to get into, but I think the law of polarity was something that was of a little bit of interest to us. So if you don't mind, could you get into that and what that is and how that works?
Yes, I sure can. The law of polarity says that things that seem opposite are really just extremes of the same thing.
Okay.
So fear is the extreme opposite of joy. So if you're in fear, you're not really you're not joyous. Joy is still in there because the opposite has to be in there so that you know where you are on that scale.
Okay.
So one way to figure out what's going on sometimes when you're confused is to notice things that you might be resisting. So a thought or a belief, when they're in conflict with how you're behaving or want to behave, that's the law of polarity. You're feeling friction. And if you have a value that you've developed over time that conflicts either with a value that you grew up with and didn't agree with, or with something that you're doing, like, you believe in saving the earth and you work for a company that's polluting, that would be the law of polarity. The conflict is you want to be on this end and your job is keeping you towards the other end. So one thing that the law of polarity is perfect about is you can figure out how to move closer to the other side.
Mm-hmm. So how does it usually happen?
Well, the way that works best for me when I am confronted with this polarity is I start to feel my emotions going in the wrong direction. I start to say things negative. I tell stories that are negative. You know, oh, I'm having such a terrible day. Oh, I woke up and the sun was out and I hate the sun. You know, or, oh.
You say everything else around you, right?
Yes, everything else around you. And you're, you know, it's like you're at the bottom of a petri dish looking up going, okay, world, look what you did to me.
I know, the victim role. Hello.
Yes, the victim role. Mm-hmm. So when I start to notice things like, okay, I'm starting to, you know, I'm already starting to prepare myself for somebody to act a certain way. I stop myself because I know that I'm not I'm not in the right polarity. I'm not on the right side of that scale. And I start to move towards what if this person's demeanor when they come home or into the office is totally unexpected?
Mm-hmm.
What if I get a chance to leave work early and get paid? What if? And I start moving myself into a space that is further in the opposite direction than what I'm feeling.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's really, you know, that's really being able to integrate the law of polarity into your life. And it helps with cause and effect.
Yeah, absolutely. It's literally you are shifting that frequency within you into, in words, I would put it from, of course, the scarcity to abundance, but in the kind of energy words would be the lower frequency into higher frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, you're going from feeling down, just like lower frequency would feel, down, sad, whatever the other feelings, into more of a opposite, yeah. So, yeah,
right.
It's literally, yes, people do it sometimes, through words, through movement, through, it's yet another way. There are many ways, we've discussed that before, many ways to do that. How you shift yourself from the negative more into positive so you stay more in the middle. Neutral.
Right.
Neutral. Yes. So it's
into neutral.
So that's kind of what the law of polarity. When you sense that, then you start readjusting yourself, right?
Exactly. And sometimes things feel so heavy. The best you can do is to use what's called the triangle method.
Mm-hmm.
TRY, triangle. You take the angle of putting effort into just getting more neutral, to take some of the sting out.
Mm-hmm.
That's the secret, is just one step at a time, just one small action at a time. Because the more small actions you take, the more momentum. Trying to jump from one side to the other throws you back to the other side.
And it even would probably turn you off, and you wouldn't even want to. It's just
exactly.
It usually would not work. Or you will try very, very hard for 3 days, and then you're like, whoa, no.
Yeah, it's almost like a rubber band. You're pulling and pulling so hard to try to get further and further, and you're not ready. And as soon as you get to that tipping point, the rubber band throws you all the way back to where you were before.
Mm-hmm.
So use the law of polarity to, neutralize the positive and the negative to get to a place where both exist in the same place, and it gives you breathing space.
Well, it's funny because I've spent a lot of my exploration, meditation in that sphere where I was trying to go into nothingness in my meditation to explore, where is, let's just say, the best place to be as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
On which side of one side or the other in the middle. And everything I've gone through brought me in the middle. All of my explorations and in meditations and even higher thinking too brought me in the middle.
I think that's the point, is we are supposed to be in the middle.
Because we're embracing
it. There's good aspects of it. There's bad aspects.
We are embracing it.
Light or dark, whatever you want to call it.
Exactly. Opposites have to be embraced. And that's, I think, why I just had a beautiful love affair with my ego.
That's perfect. That's where we started, and that's where we're going to end, is with that beautiful thought of having a love affair with your ego, because that brings you to that neutral space. I call it the in-between.
Mm-hmm.
And I've heard in breathing, they call it God's breath or the divine breath. It's that space where you can just be, and there's no pull in either direction, or the pull is exactly the same.
Yeah. No push or pull. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's actually beautiful. Yeah.
Right. Well, Renee, thank you so much for coming on with us tonight.
Yes, thank you.
It's been a great discussion, and I'm sure we're going to have you back on, because I'm sure you have lots of information for us.
I still have
like
a lot to ask for you.
I feel like an hour and a half is never enough time.
No.
But so if you could leave our listeners with any words.
Something that maybe will leave them with something they can look into, or maybe we can tie it with the homework.
Yes.
Because, Renee, I don't know if you know, but every show we leave ourselves and the audience with a homework for the week.
Mm-hmm.
Just something little that we all can implement and we can benefit from. So maybe this homework we can tie with something that you can present that every person can do and play with.
Yeah, just one step that people can take to change their thought processes, to change the way that they think so they can create the reality that they want.
Or recognizing pattern and approaching it a certain way. Like, what do you think would be a great first step for someone who maybe haven't done it yet and kind of started being interested in it? Or it's pulling, the pattern is being obvious.
Well, for me, the easiest way to introduce people into this, this world of how do you leverage change that's going on in your life, the easiest way is to, for a week, each day, pick one thing that hits you, that somebody says, that you react to. So you hear a comment that a worker at lunch is making to another worker, and it registers in your mind. Write it down for 7 days. So it's your family or out grocery shopping, wherever. One thing that kind of stuck with you that somebody said during the day. And then my invitation would be to either you could do the I can't, I won't, I can, or you could do, I could either, she or he could say either this, what they said, or, and then you make your own statement. So whatever they said that caught you, you are going to now find the polar piece of that. And next week on your radio show, ask them to see what they learned from finding the polar opposite.
I love it. That's wonderful homework.
Okay. I'm writing it down.
Yes.
That's
Well,
great.
Renee, would you please give everyone in our listening audience your contact information, your website, email address, any information that you'd like to give?
Well, absolutely. Thank you for that. I can be reached at Renee, RENEE, at landofpossibility.com. I can also be reached by phone at 866-337-2728. And the website is... Oh, I'm sorry?
Oh, it's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, and I was going to say the website is landofpossibility.com.
Beautiful. I love it.
I like it.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Renee, thank you so much for being on. And like I said, we will be in contact because I'm sure we'd like to get you back on because we have lots more questions for you. But thank you so much for all the information, and we hope you have a great evening.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh, you guys are welcome. I have had so much fun, and I would love to come back because life isn't either or, it's and. So thank you for having me on, and I will see you guys again.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
know the Constitution like the back of your hand. You've read books, listened to podcasts, attended lectures, surfed websites, and watched videos. You've made liberty your life's goal, but something seems to be missing. Stickers from LibertyStickers.com. Exercise your freedom of speech with the world's most dangerous bumper stickers. That's LibertyStickers.com. But wait, there's more. You can buy Liberty Stickers whole.
Are you sick of being a chump, lied to by politicians and businessmen alike, watching as the world slowly burns, as trillions in debts racked up under your grandchildren's names? Hi, I'm Ben Lucifer Bernanke Cochran. I'm asking that you tune into my weekly radio show, The Patriot Power Hour with Lucifer Bernanke, each Thursday night at 6 p.m. Eastern on Freedomizer Radio. Look, I'm not trying to sell you anything here. I just need your help fighting these banks of scum. The sycophants behind all the wars, failed healthcare system. They own all the mega banks, all the mega corporations. They own the media, of course. They've already conquered most of humanity, really. And their juiciest final target, well, we're next. America's next. So I'm not going out without fighting. So join me Thursdays as I use my background in finance and risk management to decode breaking news and developments, all while helping to prepare you and your family for the future waves of financial terrorism that are sure to come. Thursday nights, 6 p.m. Eastern, only on FreedomizerRadio.com.